Uh, Marcus, give me five sports mascots slash team names that do not exist yet.
The Lansing Wallabies.
One, just the mascot, not the city.
Oh, the Jackals.
Two,
Uh, Sperm whales.
three,
Uh, Hallucinating tree frogs.
four,
Uh, the Fighting John Hams.
five. These are
There are five things. These are five things.
things. All right, hit me with one.
Uh, all right. Give me your five favorite car companies.
Uh, Mini.
That's one.
Uh, Tesla if it had a different owner.
Two.
Uh, Lexus.
That's three.
Uh, Jeep.
Four.
The I'll never know, but probably like Aston Martin.
That's five.
These are five things.
Five things. These are five things.
Hello, welcome to Twin Killing. So we're two twins. Talk about a movie and stuff. As of this taping, happy Juneteenth, and I've been my very mild uh, career update, I guess, because there was a open mic at the Comedy Store very late last night, and they pulled my name out of the bucket, and I did 2 minutes. It went pretty well. I got some laughs. I didn't get picked to go back up. But what if they like you, they have you go back up again. You're considered for a spot on a real show. I didn't get any of that, but I technically made my Comedy Store debut.
Congratulations.
Thank you. And I don't know. I don't know if you're watching anything current on television or in cinema. It's been out for a few weeks. I have a mild recommend. It's more of an amiable enjoyment than super great, but the Apple Plus TV show Stick with Owen Wilson and Mark Maron about a washed up golf player who's a mentor to a new kid in town. It's pretty good.
Hmm. Or
Uh,
as Owen Wilson would say, wow.
you know, you would. You probably did. You probably read the script. Yeah, his monocle fell out. You
And he
saw.
went, wow. Wow.
Uh, why not buy so many monocles? Shh. Yeah. So I actually did some light textual analysis on Chungking Express, kind of movie that lends itself to that. I actually wrote some stuff down. If I remember where I wrote it. Oh my god. Anyway, I'll find it. But so aside from your 1001 movies list, I think you said that like 10 times on this podcast already. We've only done 3 episodes. Any particular reason you picked you I guess, well, I know you did a randomizer on your list, but any particular reason you would say you wanted to see this movie other than it was on a list?
Um, I've heard a lot about Wong Kar Wai from other friends. Definitely more film people who studied film in school type friends, not just like casual film fans. It's kind of a deep cut for a normal film fan. I kind of want to see what it kind of see, a good opportunity to see what he was about. Uh,
Yeah. I know for me, the only time I ever heard about Wong Kar Wai, and it was a fairly substantial amount of time, was when I was in first in film studies and then film school. It's very quintessential. Had a lot of Chinese immigrant or exchange or whatever you want to call it students at the New York Film Academy, and they dig that guy. And I suppose I can see why. We'll get into it. It's our first experience both with Kar Wai or Wong,
yep.
as his friends call him, like the butler from Doctor Strange. Uh, did you have you seen any of his other movies before?
Not a single one. This is my very first.
Same. Have you seen any Hong Kong filmmakers otherwise before?
For sure. I think John Woo and Ang Lee are both.
I'm not so
I
sure
know
about
John Woo for
Chinese.
sure.
I
Like,
think Chinese, and then he went to America for film school. But
okay. Well, John Woo definitely. And
yeah,
I saw a couple. I assume they were Hong Kong. It was S- Star A1 and A2 or something with Jackie Chan, which I
mm.
believe for Hong Kong films as well.
Jackie Chan also was an intersection between not traditional, but Chinese cinema and Hong. What is the demonym of someone from Hong Kong? Is it Hong Kangian? Hong King? Short King?
Synonym for Hong Kong. Wow. Your first one, whatever you said, sounded better than what it actually is. Hong Konger.
Like deep cut Darva Conger, who married and then divorced Rick Rockwell on Who Wants to Marry a Multimillionaire.
Yep, same level of pop culture. Directly, critically acclaimed Hong Kong director in
I'm pretty sure Darva
90s.
Conger made a art house movie about cops falling in love too, but that's for another day. Uh, so I guess get into it. I guess of the movie because I don't know, but this movie stars one actor I knew,
Uh-huh.
mostly from Shang-Chi and the Fist of Punchy Fisties. His name Tony Leung? Is that his name?
Yeah, this isn't gonna be a great podcast for pronunciation, but that's how I would say it. Maybe,
Leung. The spelling bee version.
yeah.
Yeah, and then I don't know. I don't know. I was gonna try to mention this later, but whatever. The girl who played the whatever the girl who works at the diner restaurant,
So
the future stewardess. She
she
was
actually plays a character named after her actress.
no, wasn't it May?
They're actually it's Wong Kar Wai. I don't know if I guess he probably did this on purpose. It's because this movie would have cute coincidences like this. The first movie involves a girl's name May, and the second movie involves a girl named Faye.
So Pixie girl with the short haircut who likes California Dreaming is Faye,
Yes, and her actress name is Faye as well.
and the Chinese woman with the 1950s heavy brown wig is May.
That's the thing. No, she
Oh,
actually doesn't have. She doesn't have a name.
I remember that. I also saw it in the credits, but yeah.
but his ex in the first one is May, and then uh, he meets a second May at the that it's actually part of the reason why the movie's called Express. Well, it's actually why it's called Express because there's that so it's a that food stand is an express.
Yeah, both characters are cops who go to the same uh, restaurant.
Yeah,
So I guess pull back a little bit into more of a broader thing. This movie is, I almost thought it was a sneaky anthology film because I didn't realize it at first. It's
same.
not really sneaky, but I guess like sort of advertised. It's two stories that interplay with each other. In some ways, are weirdly the same. I mean, got a cop with an ex-girlfriend
Yep,
he's still infatuated with,
yep.
and kind of falls in love with a girl, but there's a lot of vague disinterest for different reasons.
Right, they're for both stories, they're stuck on the previous girl for most of the story.
Yeah, and the second one, and by the, I'm just jumping all over the place, but get get to my review part or implying my review part pretty soon. But after watching the whole thing, I really liked the second half, and then I was kind of like, you could have just gotten rid of the first half.
Well, this might be our first major disagreement of the podcast. I actually preferred the first half a lot more than the second half.
Oh, really? I thought it was such more romantic and had a lot more resonance in the second
I
one.
thought it was a much more interesting story. It, it was bizarre, but I think the bizarreness made it interesting.
You didn't think it was kind of a dead end because he was making himself hit on a basically a transient criminal?
I actually thought that setup had some charm to it. It was so so obvious with its narration. Kind of, I thought it was almost a little funny when he said, "I'll fall in love with the next girl I see," and it's the girl in the blonde wig who's
Yeah,
doing this drug smuggling operation with immigrants. They've established into the bar.
yeah. So the wig's an interesting thing because I don't know if you're aware of this. I don't want to. I don't want to. Obviously, first of all, it doesn't matter what your sexuality is in life. Who cares? I love everyone equally. Blah blah blah. But is Wong Kar Wai gay?
I did not read his personal life section of his Wikipedia page. I did. I was going through it.
Because I guess giving my lead for my brilliant research, I found a like Wikipedia like website that had like film discussion things on this, and apparently some people associate this movie as a queer narrative, despite the fact that all four characters are technically engaged in more or less a heterosexual courtship ritual.
Hmm.
And a lot of that is because there's a lot of challenging of the gender norms.
He's married to a woman named Esther and has a child.
Wow. Because I was gonna say there was a different movie actually came out before this. I think it's a Todd Haynes anthology movie called Poison. It might be on your list. I don't know. But and it's all about like gay people and AIDS. Where he buries it in subtext. It's like one of them's like a science fiction horror movie where the monster is clearly like a guy who got AIDS, but it's not said out loud. Anyway, just interesting how you can sort of people can interpret straight relationships as being gay.
Never mind.
Oh, he's to be bi or something.
He's an LGBTQ icon, came out as gay. I guess this Esther's maybe not a woman. Um,
Bi or something. I don't know. Regardless, so yeah, so I nailed it. Nailed it.
nailed it.
Sexual analysis. All right. because yeah, both female characters have a major identity crisis based in part on their sexuality. The most more literal in the first film because uh, she wears a wig to resemble a prostitute to commit crime. So it's like she's using her female identity and hiding it.
Yeah.
And then the second one, the manic pixie dream girl, uh, wants to become a stewardess, which could be argued is a some sort of patriated masculinity. Certainly more than working in the shop. But yeah, yeah,
I thought that was a weird tie back to his ex, because ex was a stewardess.
yeah. I thought the movie was gonna be. I think it was implied that Faye was sexually attracted to. I mean, maybe just the idea of, but certainly the girl in the stewardess outfit. That was part of the reason why she did it. Did you get that vibe?
Yeah, it was confusing why she became a stewardess.
Because she comes in the shop and she's like has her back to her with the thing on, and like Faye's like staring at her. It kind of seemed like a somewhat of a leering gaze, but that they kind of left it intentionally vague because she just sort of like literally disappeared and went to quote unquote Los Angeles that looked like Hong Kong. But yeah,
I didn't notice that, but I stumbled, well, in my little internet searching here, I stumbled upon a Reddit thing that said this is the best gay romance movies of all time or something. Which, so I guess other people saw signs like that too.
yeah. And there's a lot. I mean, get really granular with the textual analysis. So it's like obviously on the basic level, both male protagonists are interested in having uh, a hookup, if you will, and it fails miserably. Even when they give Tony Leung the happy ending at the end, it's like there's no there's no like direct physicality to it. It's not a consecrated relationship, and he gets abandoned a couple times before it even happens. So it's a very like dysfunctional courtship ritual, even if you think it's successful.
that's kind of the culture in these Asian language movies. They kind of avoid physical contact. It's more about the dialogue and stuff.
Uh, so what do you? I'm just looking at the. I don't even see an accredited author, but I will generically say thank you, GradeSaver.com, for your Chungking Express study guide with essay questions. What do you think the? I'm trying to think of a comparison for a director. Not Tarantino to an extent, but like a director who uses a lot of like uh, jump cuts and like repetitious shots, very disjunctive editing. Remind me a lot of like French New Wave. What do you think that adds to the narrative?
It distracts from the narrative, I would say, makes it more of an art film, which is, I think, part of the reason why it's not just on this 1001 list, but it's on other Times 100 best movie lists in 2005 and the Sight and Sound poll in 2002.
Well,
But
I mean, not to drop, but it's a bit visually like flawless movie, and the fact that he shot this in what looked like real restaurants in
yes,
Hong Kong,
to
and
not,
like flawlessly edited, everything goes together perfectly. It's just a masterclass in like stylistic control, which is weird because the genre there's no expectation for artistry in like a rom-com or whatever you want to call this. But yeah, yeah.
well, I knew he's a big fan, art school fan. I actually had no idea this was a romantic comedy going in.
Yeah. I mean, it's sort of a what do you call it? Yeah, art house romantic dramedy, but I guess technically, but
And he made this very quickly, so yeah, it is impressive that it wasn't choppy in its editing or anything, because he's filming some movie called Ashes of Time, which was a heavy war epic type movie. Well, it's only 100 minutes, but that had more exotic settings and stuff. So in a 2 month break, he decided to make a
mm,
simpler movie in
yeah.
areas that he knew. And the film's actually it's called because Chunking and Express independently have different meanings. Chunking is a part of is in reference to the Chungking mansions, which is like a big complex in Hong Kong. There's a lot happening around it. There's a lot of sex, drugs, and crime. There's a lot of culture too. So
Yeah.
it's yeah, yeah.
So, uh, it's a very obvious point, but it's in the essay questions, and I noticed it too. The song choices, "California Dreamin'" by Mamas and the Papas.
Oh God, that's probably the biggest negative of the movie is bang you over the head with that stupid song. Well, I like that song a lot actually, but over and over again,
I think it was intentional. But,
obviously.
well, because I was gonna say that song, and then the weird Chinese cover of "Dreams" by the Cranberries.
Fun fact. So actually, three of the four principals, except for the wig wearer, are all singers. And Faye Wong herself, who plays Faye in story number two, sang that cover.
Okay. Well, I was just gonna say that both California Dreaming and Dreams are about the uh, wanting of something that is not there.
Right. That's
Characters
probably
characters who want to leave or should leave or whatever. But yeah, yeah, yeah.
yes, there's a air of flightiness in both stories.
Well, literally in the first one, because the wig woman never gives a pretense of sticking around and then just disappears. I guess both women disappear basically. But yeah. So what was I kind of know, but what was wig lady? I don't woman in wig, whatever. What's her racket? She just like trading like stolen merchandise.
It was drugs.
Oh,
So it was using immigrants, in this case, Indian immigrants. She even calls them the Indians. And like giving them money and then going out shopping, buying suits and nice luggage, but then lining the suits and luggage with drugs
huh.
and then traveling and then obviously distributing them.
And naturally, a cop becomes infatuated with her. Yeah, yeah.
And she gets backstabbed, but she gets her retribution. And she kills the one English-speaking character in the movie, the drug dealer who tries to cross her.
Yeah. Although the cop does famously speak English when he says, "Do you like pineapples?"
Actually,
Uh,
multiple people speak English in that movie,
it's very
especially in the first story.
yeah. It's a very Hong Kong deal because there's a lot of transient international business in Hong Kong.
Which makes sense because that was the thing I learned from his background was, and it's probably true of feels like close to all of the Hong Kong residents, especially from his age. He was born in like 58, and he was a kid. His parents and him, 'cause he was born in China, mainland China in Shanghai, but the Cultural Revolution was starting, and they fled to Hong Kong and lived there.
Eh. So back to the essay questions. How would you compare and contrast the two police officers in the two different stories?
Um,
Tony Leung is a lot more reserved, philosophical. How would you describe that?
I say borderline depressed. And that's kind of like the first story more because he gives himself this timeline with the pineapples.
Yeah.
Um, and then the second one, he's he's more just lost.
Yeah.
Um,
I found that more endearing because felt more sincere. First guy was a little wacky.
very
Yeah.
wacky.
Yeah. I mean, it was funny, but it got like, I mean, this movie may knock of every art house drama ish. Just a little long. It's a little long. There's moments where I got it and it went long. Like I checked the clock at the end. There was like probably like 5, 10 minutes I could have cut out of the like resolution of the second story. But anyway, I guess on the positive, we get to hang out with the characters and not just follow the beats of a story. But it got a little long winded for me.
Yeah.
All right, another essay comparison question. Uh, I guess two-part question. One, how does this compare to other '90s cinema of possibly comparative ilk? And also, knowing this is a '90s movie, do you feel like it would be any different, or I don't know? Is there anything? Is there anything? What's the word? Antiquated in a '90s sense about this movie? So the directors that they suggest for comparing are Tarantino, because
Uh,
everyone gets compared to Tarantino. Uh, Jimmy Jarmusch,
mhm.
Claire Denis. I don't think I've seen any '90s Claire Denis, but
I haven't either.
Jarmusch is interesting because his movies seem a lot more like drab.
Yeah. And Tarantino's movie, especially his 90s era, is fast-paced and much more underworldly.
Yeah, there is the one thing that's very like almost like one to one the same is the using antiquated American pop music for like seemingly intentional juxtapositional effect. Like Tarantino would totally set an action scene with California Dreaming playing on a speaker or something. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah. Uh, the way, especially in story number one, the cop uses a payphone a lot that wouldn't exist in using modern technology.
yeah,
So that would almost get more for this story. It doesn't really go through that many locations. It kind of like a play. It comes back to the express food stand type thing a lot because of him needing to go there to make phone calls.
yeah.
So that'd be different if it was modern day. Um, I don't know about the modern day thing. Films of the 90s. It is a pretty 90s film when I think about it.
Well, yeah. I mean, the colors and the like. It's like people just the world just discovered like color. I don't know. I don't know. Certain. I guess every decade has its own art house cinema, but it feels like something very new that wouldn't seem as novel nowadays. Maybe. But I don't know. Yeah, yeah. But I was gonna say because you mentioned payphones. but also cell phones because I mean, which would still exist in the 90s probably, but Tony Leung tells her to go to the restaurant, and he just sits at the restaurant. Like, I mean, probably would get a call on his cell phone if he was in a modern day movie.
Yeah,
And I think there'd be more pressure for the movie to be a little more like literal about its themes. Like, like it would probably be like, yeah, maybe less traditional, especially the ending. I think it's a very 90s ending to be like, where do you want to go? Anywhere you'll take me. And then like the airplane, I imagine airplane noise. It probably wasn't airplane noise, but cut to black. They're gonna get together. That seemed like really forced. And I don't think he'd have to do that in a modern movie. Yeah. At least an art house movie.
yeah. Well, if it's a well, that's an artistic thing. I don't know if Wong Kar Wai wanted to make everything flighty and ambiguous here in both stories.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, because I mean, A24 is like the most popular. I mean, yeah, like the I don't know, it's very popular. They would make a movie like this probably. So there's a certain level of timelessness. I felt related to it. I felt more related to Tony Leung and the girl because that was like more of a real, I guess, realistic courtship, for lack of a better term. But all the characters are fairly like relatable and played normally. So I think it doesn't age poorly or anything by any means.
I think it's supposed to be juxtaposition. He's more emotional and depressed, and then juxtaposed with the cop in the first story.
Yeah,
Concrete plan where I'll eat all this pineapple and break up with her if she doesn't call me back and
yeah.
on on May in May. Um,
Obviously, there's way more romantic dramas that don't have a comedic subplot before the movie starts than otherwise. But I mean, can you put into words why this makes sense to be an anthology movie? Because it kind of doesn't to me.
I mean, do any anthology movies make sense? Is it?
Well, I guess anthology movies usually I'm used to horror anthologies. I'm sure there's other genres, but anthology movies usually have stories that are so short that they get wrapped up and you can't release that theatrically. I feel like these movies, especially the second half, was probably close enough to a full runtime anyway. You probably didn't need to make an anthology just on on a literal level, but
No, I just an artistic choice, and I think Wong Kar Wai had two stories he wanted to tell, and I guess he didn't want to, or maybe he didn't feel he could flesh out both these stories enough to make their own feature and combine them. Um,
yeah, I mean they are connected like in a very literal way because the first cop literally almost runs into Faye at the beginning of the second story.
he actually runs in because he has a thing where he has two different little monologues where he says people can move with you point point oh one centimeters and change each other's lives or something.
Yeah,
And he does that with it's actually the transition to the second story is they almost bump into each other, the two cops.
right. And he that was Faye in the first part. He goes to the Chungking restaurant or whatever, and the owner tells him, "You got to meet my daughter or not daughter, whatever the girl who works here."
They're
And
related. They're not father and daughter though.
wait, I'm just saying that's Faye, right? He's like, "You got to come here."
Yes, yes, yes.
He comes to the restaurant too late, and he misses her, and yeah.
That's the introduction of Faye and Wong Kar Wai is very artistic. The character in the cop in number two is called Cop 663. They actually get they gave him a cop number two, cop number one in the first one, but he has a name too. But they do not give the Tony Leung's cop a name.
That's pretty weird. Because he's like a three-dimensional character. You think it would have just happened to have a name, but but he's only known for showing up on his beat. He only goes to the restaurant for his lunch break or whatever, so or
He
dinner.
actually didn't, according to Wikipedia, he didn't finish writing the screenplay when filming began.
Yeah, we were talking about how it's a short-term project. That was the same thing that I think Gus Van Sant did on Sex Lies and Videotape. He just had some notes because he knew he had to film it in like a weekend. He just
Isn't that Soderbergh?
really? I know I get confused, but boy. It's very important for our discussion of Chungking Express.
Yeah, it's Soderbergh.
So what was Gus Van Sant's big breakout movie?
I mean, around that time he did Drugstore Cowboy.
I thought I saw something he did. I guess it was just Soderbergh. Yeah, I never saw Drugstore Cowboy. So, man, I like both of them, but that really changes my estimation of Gus Van Sant a lot. But anyway,
His first movie ever. That was the second movie and the first I've ever heard of. Did a movie called Mala Noche.
yeah, Van Sant's a very good director, but he doesn't do the style that Soderbergh does. That'd be a good comp for Kar Wai, actually. I feel like because
Gus?
Soderbergh's a little more romantic than Tarantino ish to the style of Kar Wai a little bit sometimes, yeah, like Out of Sight. I don't know if you saw that, but
I did watch Out of Sight.
it's got some good jump cutty weirdness. Good movie.
Yeah.
What else?
There is ambiguity in the love story and Out of Sight, kind of.
Well, the whole narrative because he's the whole ex-con really get caught,
And she
escape.
shoots him in, spoiler alert, but she shoots him in the leg to turn him in, and then, but then she pairs him with a Samuel Jackson, an escape artist, to in theory break him out.
You remember that? Well, I remember, yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, it's a great ending. I never read that book. So that's a Elmore Leonard also. But, yeah. So a few odds and ends. So I was looking it up. Part of the reason, maybe you realize this already, that Wong Kar Wai is esteemed so highly as a gay director is he made a movie not too long after this one called Happy Together, and it's
Yeah.
about a gay couple. So that one was very well received, especially amongst the LGBTQ plus community. Yeah.
It's also on my list, so we're watching it next week. I'm just kidding. Kidding, kidding.
Can't pick a movie next week. SOB. And then I don't know. I was looking it up because we're talking about Gus Van Sant for no reason at all. Uh, Recommended 2011 movie he did called Restless. The plot's not much to speak about. It's sort of a alternate version of Fault in Our Stars. This guy meets a girl who's dying of cancer and they have a relationship. I thought it was very well done. It was technically a TV movie. Gus Van Sant is very good at simple emotional stories. Yeah, yeah.
Well, it got a theater release, I think.
Oh, it was nominated for a Golden Globe for some miniseries or something. I thought, but yeah, or a SAG award actually, where I saw it. But yeah,
Yeah. Okay. But
yeah.
well, also recommend Drugstore Cowboy and Elephant by Gus Van Sant as well.
Well, if it's a school shooter movie, is that right?
Yeah.
Drugstore Cowboy is not much more fun either. Uh, Good Will Hunting. There you go. Good crowd pleaser. How about
Looks
didn't?
pretty good. It's not as good as the other ones, but
I don't know. I mean, looks fine, but Good Will Hunting actually is good though. I mean, for what it is. But, yeah. Any other thoughts about Chungking Express?
I mean, no, I think we covered everything. Yeah, I think you're queuing and getting to the review aspect. So like,
Yeah, I'm just trying to think. So we already covered, I think, the ending. Well, there's two endings, I suppose, but that Faye becomes a stewardess and seemingly abandons Tony Leung or Cop 366. But then she comes back to the store, which he owns now. Do you think that was
yep.
weird? That he's just like, oh, I own the store now? And it's like the movie's almost over?
Uh, I mean, it makes sense the fact that he's very depressed as a cop and living by himself. So I think he wants to be around more people. And I think he does quote unquote love food. I think because he eats a lot in that movie.
He changes his favorite dish at least once based on the inquiry of the store owner guy. Yeah.
And he's also eating in the other place too, getting rice with pork on top of it. It's making me hungry watching him eat it.
Yeah, it was like Hong Kong's a magical place where wherever you order, there's also like homemade ramen noodles. Yeah, so and then she comes back in the stewardess thing, and apparently, despite seemingly abandoning him for no reason to become a stewardess, they're gonna end up together.
It's ambiguous on purpose, yeah.
Yeah, but it was nice. They both deserved at least a vague allusion to a happy ending because they're both very nice people, especially the guy that Faye. I was surprised she never really left Chinese cinema. Probably focused on her musical career and stuff, but she's such a charismatic presence. She like stole the movie. I
I suppose.
mean, I mean, reminded me a lot of. I mean, she didn't really leave America. She didn't really leave France either, but she reminded me a little bit of Audrey Tattoo. Yeah, all right. Why don't you go first on your rating? Because I think I went first every time I've done this.
Yeah. Overall, I'll give it a 7.
I'm a little surprised. A little surprised.
Yeah, some parts like the California Dreamin' hit you over the head, right? Especially with the first story. But there's some cleverness and some artistic appeal. I mean, which is part of the reason going through the 1001 list because I can appreciate classic cinema, artistic cinema, etc. So I think there's something there for that. Uh, and I think that both stories, the characters are somewhat interesting to follow. Um, Maybe she got a little lower because 7 or above, you're kind of getting into. If this was on TV and I'm flipping through the channels, I'd love to watch it again. And I don't know about this movie, but there are some parts I wouldn't mind watching again, I guess. Yeah, and I overall, I'm satisfied with 7 because I think Wong Kar Wai brings enough artistically that kind of interested in watching his other films eventually to see what else he can provide. Um,
Yeah,
uh, Anything else?
probably not. You said a lot, or you took a while.
All right, that sums it up.
All right. Uh, I agree with some of your sentiment. I feel like I have to almost defend this movie because uh, well, I had to find the movie this way, and this happens a lot in art cinema, where I feel like if I, pin down the things I saw, I liked almost all of it. It's very, I mean, it's funny because this movie's used as like as a visual example in film school of like how to do things, and I would watch it and I'd be like, I don't know how to do that, but it looks cool, but it does look cool, and it's got a very unique editing style. It's got a reverent sense of humor. I think it got a little long-winded in any element. The shot pacing, the over talking, repetition of thematic elements. So it's like it's a great movie, but it's a little. It feels indulgent, which may not be fair due to the cultural differences. If I was going to recommend, I would recommend this to people who obviously like Chinese cinema. I don't think you'd argue that this is probably the greatest Chinese language movie you've seen.
I mean, yeah, almost feels like it speaks to the fact I haven't seen enough of them, but yeah, I can't think of one off the top of my head that's better.
Yeah, it was very good for that. So if you like Chinese movies, you're gonna like this. If you like Tony Leung, and who doesn't? I mean, it's one of his meatiest roles. Probably it really helped his career out a lot to have this on his reel on Actors Access. I don't think he needs Actors Access. But anyway, I like the romantic story of the second one. I wish it was just the second one, which feels bad because I don't hate the first part, but just would have made it shorter and easier to digest. But I did like the romantic part of the second one. It was too long, so look at it was 7.1, just to make the point that weirdly I'm the one defending this movie more than you, but it also had problems with the pacing, and I loved all the California Dreaming stuff. I don't know what you're talking about, but that was that was the most fun part of the movie for me is him trying to yell over the California Dreaming over and over again. It's very diverting. All right. Unless you have anything else to talk about, I think we can get into next week's movie. Yeah.
uh, yeah, I don't have anything else to say about Chungking Express. Pretty good movie.
All right. I'll get my rant here. So, uh, this movie had funny elements, but it's more of a artsy, romantic dramedy. It's how I watch a comedy. I know what you're thinking. I know what you're thinking. I know what you're thinking. Hey. I don't want to watch a comedy that's too funny. I don't want to laugh too much. So how about a comedy with a 9% Rotten Tomatoes ranking that the filmmaker and to a much larger extent the audience at large has almost completely ignored ever since it came out. It's only available basically on YouTube rips. But it is by a famous filmmaker and comedian. It may be the lowest rated movie of his entire career. That's right, folks. We're going to something like 1974. Don't count me on that. It's some people called it a sketch comedy film with no plot from everyone's favorite, Jerry Lewis, Hardly Working, which sounds like it's probably an apt name for the movie's effectiveness. Any reaction to that revelation?
Where can people watch Hardly Working?
Well, I don't want to advertise specific things too much because I don't want to be taken it to be taken down before we can review it. But Google.com, Hardly Working streaming. There's a few options. There's no pristine Netflix upload or anything like that. It got 2 mega thumbs down and was on the worst of the year list for both Ebert and Siskel. So I'm sure it's gonna be terrific. I probably should have picked an older or more well regarded Jerry Lewis movie, but I saw something online about this and tickled my fancy. So you found the name of it, didn't you? At least, are you looking?
Yeah, so it's not on any of the normal streaming services.
No,
So I'm
there's
gonna watch it then.
websites to have it.
Okay.
It's not illegal. Well, I'm getting that, but it's not. It's not illicit. It's not a torrent website. It's out there.
Okay.
And obviously I'll make a correction if somehow it's not available, but should be.
Okay, we'll discuss offline.
If I have to pick a different movie, it'll only be worse, not higher quality. We're only going negative Rotten Tomato numbers. All right. I guess that's our closing segment for the show. So until next time, keep killing twins. I don't know.
Yeah, we only want the only ones on Earth, so you heard it from him. Murder all the twins on Earth other than us. So,
You see Romulus and Remus being suckled by wolves? Just put a stop to all that. That's any takeaway of this. Oh, and very late in the show, no one's gonna hear this, but YouTube.com. Well, I know YouTube.com. You can search Jason Luna 1vs100 or Jason Luna no spaces, or also could be YouTube.com/Jason Luna or Jason Luna 1vs100. Anyway, you can find videos of this podcast as well as my weekly content as an independent comedy sketch filmmaker. I advertise it elsewhere, so don't have to worry about it. In fact, no one's gonna hear this. But all right. Any last parting words, Marcus?
go Dodgers. Sweep the Padres tonight. Get your brooms
Go
out.
go Lakers with their new billionaire owner.
Yeah, it's a good transition period. So, but it's overall a good thing.
Well, the GM's already, I heard, trying to trade like every position, for every position.
Try and get that center to help Luca. Yeah.
I mean, I heard a front court guy too, but you know. All right, keep trying to end this, and it keeps going. So, see you next time. Twin killing.
Bye.